Mega Flow Show on megatechlab.tv.
Word, what up? You want to get this started here?
Let's do it. Let's try it out.
Skynet.
Hey.
The one and only right here. It's your boy Havok Mega, havokmega.com, and I have the pleasure of being here after the big night at Plush, where Skynet was just out this Tuesday night, and still they had heads up in the joint, huh?
Yeah, it was pretty good in there, man. I mean, Tuesday night, not many places around the country that pull off that, you know, so it just goes to show Austin's still on top, you know, in that sense.
Yeah, I think credit goes to Everyday Junglist, too. I mean, they're living up to their name and really following through with that.
These guys just, every time I've been here, you know, they put their whole heart and soul into it, and it's a way of life for these guys. So I think that's when you really connect with things and you get the real club atmosphere. And everything's in the club, you know what I mean? From the passion and the heart that goes into it. So every time I've been out here, these guys kill it. So.
Well, and the longevity too, because they have the history. They've been here for so long, and people know that it's a name that they can trust because they're bringing out people that people want to see all the time. You know, it's a good
absolutely, and that just shows again, you know, your passion for it. Like, there's a lot of people that, you know, pop up overnight and you want to put on a party, you want to get the glam, want to get the attendance and everything else and make some money. And then there's people that actually just really want to put on a really good show and a really good night, and this is what these guys do. So, I mean, that's what it's about, really, to me. You go to the bigger raves, and that's cool, it's a business. It becomes a corporate entity at that point, and it loses something. Of course it will lose something at that point. So, I like the intimacy, the passion, the drive, the heart that is instilled in every sort of night like this.
It's almost like anything over 500 people. Like when you have less than 500 people, everyone is like, there might be like 100 or 200 people that you don't know there. There's only like 1 degree of separation.
Yeah.
And you can feel that.
Yeah.
Well, hey, you mind if we pick your brain a little bit and find out what makes you tick?
Oh, hell, I don't even know what that is either. So let's see if we can find out.
Well, we're gonna have to dig deep in the crates here because for me, you know, I got into drum and bass in around 1998, and by that time, I'm sure you were probably pretty established, but the first time I actually heard of you was during the Underfire era. You know, the Blazing Pack. Do you remember the Blazing Pack with the Side Effects? It was like that first track. When Kraken dropped that was the first track that introduced, maybe not the first, but it popularized the run-in 16th notes and brought the tech step into fast percussion. You know, but where did it start for you? Because you were obviously doing stuff. Because you dropped that, you know, you dropped tracks on that pack, and probably a couple others before then that I didn't know about. And then Skynet was just a name that I saw over and over and over again. But where did it start for you?
Well, the labels Underfire, Audio, Blueprint, we started those in 96, 97, I think it was. But moving to your question, was the Blazing Pack. Really, Underfire was the dance floor label. It was the energetic outlet for us to put stuff on that fired. And it's Underfire. I mean, that's really it. The Audio Blueprint was more avant-garde, like off-key, little left field, and that again fulfilled something that we had a desire to do. So we had the beauty of both worlds. But with Side Effects, it was a very interesting thing because as a label, we were not really signing many artists, and Stacker's idea at the time, which seemed reasonable, was to make the label look a little bit bigger than what it really was. So we had a lot of pseudonyms, Kraken, Found Noise, etc., etc. We had about 10, and that was all done by us. You know, we was all doing them, and Side Effects we did, and you know, a lot of people actually, funny enough, even Sean, Stacker, and everybody in our camp were not convinced about that tune. And they wasn't sure about it.
Wow.
And I was like, I don't know what you're not seeing, but this is crazy. This is some tribal, next level tech. This is fun. You know, it's just it's hard, it was tribal, and I love the tribal element to it. And that came out, and we decided to put the name Kraken to it. Now, if we had done Stacker and Skynet, could have been a whole nother world. Most people don't even realise that size anyway.
I didn't know until just now. I used to rock doubles of that track, and
oh yeah,
it's and Profound Noise was you guys as well. That's but I think just that's kind of part for the course for what was going on. Dillinger was going under Tech Level 2 and Capone and all those names.
Absolutely, it's a trend.
And it's a way to do, to.
It looks like the label's more active than it really is. And that was the game, the idea at the time. And I kind of didn't really think about it. I thought about, I understand business and branding, and you have to consolidate, what you do and really brand that. And, if you start putting other names out, then you're really watering yourself down. That's what you're doing. But at the same time, you're making a label look bigger. So we were looking at the whole picture for the label rather than our individual personal gains from it. So, but with Side Effects, that was a really monstrous tune.
That to me, brought in. I hope you folks at home, if you don't know about that track, you have to go. We'll link it to wherever you're viewing this at. You'll see a link for that tune because it really, right there, exactly. No, it really was the first, because before Trace had Sonar and that brought that Alex Reese bass line to the forefront, popularized that, but it was still just tech step, and then you guys just were like, let's get some more move in there and shuffle, and then everybody kind of just followed with that. So it's even more of a shock for me that there was questions about it,
Oh yeah, everyone in our camp, I think I could safely say I was the only one. Without sounding bullshitty, but I wrote a lot of that tune. I wrote a lot of the bass line. Pretty much all the bass line in that track. And I was just it blew my mind when it was any music that I do. I don't ever think that's me. It just blows my mind when I'm doing it, and I'm like, wow, it's crazy.
Sounds cool when it comes out of speakers.
I don't think that I'm anything special for doing that, but that was special. It's not what I do, that's what's special, and I recognised it. And I saw it for what it was and heard it. And I actually, funny enough, I had to do a lot of convincing to put that out. And it wasn't until we started sending it out that people went bananas about it. And then everybody in the camp was like, oh yeah, that's the one.
Let's do more just like that.
Well, actually, no, that's not our thing. We actually went away from it. We wouldn't continue to repeat the same. Because a lot of people, what they do is get something, find a niche for it, and rinse the shit out of it. And murder it to death.
And then they're gone.
They're big. No, but they're big. They get big from that. So, which is cool, that's understandable as a business sense. If you're a label, and that's what business is. The industry is totally different from the artistry, artists sort of output. These two, I hate business, but I can do it, and I'm good at it, but I hate it because it's just bullshit. Really, this is what we want to do. I don't care about getting it out, but when you do that, you can try and merge the two together.
So as an artist and a businessman, you have to find a happy balance.
Absolutely. I never want to be a businessman, and as soon as the business come involved, it started ruining it for me. It started going downhill because then you start to become a slave to what you do. You conform. You were saying to Logan earlier that this is your sound, this is what we love, this is what we want to hear, and you should do more of it. You get a slave into pigeonholed into what you do. But most people like that. They'll rinse it out, and what they'll do, the reason why they'll rinse it out is because it's good business.
And the records sell.
That's good business.
Change run samples.
They'll bring money in and revenue. So it depends. If you see artists doing that, you'll know that their priority is money. The priority is income and a reflux of their business.
Now, is there anything wrong with that?
No, there's nothing wrong with that. No, there's nothing wrong with anything. I mean, there's no right or wrong to anything. It's just your perception of it. And my perception is, I just want to make shit that blows me away, and I don't want to hear the same shit again.
So how hard is that to do? How hard is it for you to make shit that blows you away?
Yeah, it's challenging.
Does it get harder?
Especially after, we're talking 15, 16, 17 years of hearing that same shit over and over again. To blow myself away, it's hard. I mean, because things have been done over 1 million times, beaten to death and flogged like a dead horse, you know. So I don't want to ever come out, but then I will get the same thing of, oh, you need to make another side effects. Really? Do I really need to make another side effects? Maybe I'll make another side effects, but it won't be side effects.
Right.
I'll make another side effects, but you won't probably get that.
Teamwork plays a role in production. Do you think it's necessary? Do you think it's, you know, people are better off working in groups, and what's like the perfect group number? How does that dynamic play out?
Right. As you hit on a great question. Basically, to sum it up, the more people you've got in your camp, the more successful you will be. That's a given. You've got more heads working whatever you're doing. When me and Sean and Stacker was working, one of us would be making music, the other people might be doing the other person might be doing artworks and business and blah blah blahs, and then we swap over. You know, one runs out of ideas, and then the other person takes over and picks up. And so you can see the success in groups. Bad Company, Noisier. There's 3 of them. There's 4 of them. There's all these people, and they're not just sitting there picking their nose. They're all working. They're all doing shit. You know, like you might have Noisier. There's 3, I believe, in their crew. And one might be produced, because you can only one can be on a computer, right? One could be on a keyboard, that's all you've got. And at that stage, someone else is going to be doing other stuff. So, yeah, if you're sitting online, you know, fucking hitting shit up all day long, you're going to be very successful, because actually, Noisier, amazing that they are, and a great producers they are, they blew up on the internet. It was the first ever example of the internet taking someone and blowing them up. Mm. And most of it was like Cypher forums and the DOA, and there was a lot of people talking about them. No one really heard of them, but it was a lot of talk, a lot of whatever you would call it, you know.
Well, hype.
Yeah, hype. There's a lot of activity, I'd like to say. Because I don't like to say hype really in that sense, but activity. There's a lot of what's going on, you know what I mean? Whereas if you're on your own, you're making the tunes, no one's pumping the internet with shit. So you've got to stop the tunes and then start doing that. And then you've got to do that, and you've got to take this hat off and then wear this hat and then this hat and this hat. So
see also our buddy Headlock, who's out in the middle of nowhere making really cool stuff, but it's just him, and a lot of people are out in these satellite systems, so
absolutely.
That's good information.
Well, I think, you know, if you want to be, there's 2 ways of looking at this game, and it's really quite simple. There's industry, and then there's the artistry, you know. And people that make music because they want to make music, you'll notice. And the people that want to be successful, whether it's to do with financial reward, whether it's ego boosting, or whether, you know, whatever the reasons there are, there's always reasons behind that success. And I would rather just focus on the music and do what I like. And if no one else likes it, I don't really like.
Yeah.
It's not that I don't care, I don't mind. Because I'm not here to please everyone. I'm not here to do what everyone wants me to do. At the end of the day, whether I sell a record or 10,000, if that record made me happy and satisfied an itch, or whatever, you know, that's what it is. That's what I wanted to do. It's an outlet for me. And if other people like it, then that's just bonus. That's the bonus. Right. I don't care about sales. I don't care about money. I don't give a shit about any fame, bullshit, whatever.
Well, that's funny, because I was going to ask you that the drum and bass scene has seen so many cycles of record sales and high to low, and I don't know where we're at in the cycle right now.
Right.
But, you know, I'd imagine with the introduction to dubstep and where that's pulled from the drum and bass scene in terms of numbers, you know, how has that made you feel in terms of, I mean, I guess so you're saying it doesn't really affect you in terms of what's going on in the industry if there are people, but if there's not the sales, then doesn't that equate to people at shows as well, or have you found that to be true? Or do you still get a lot of people out at shows even when like record sales aren't their hypest, or drum and bass is not, because it's cyclical, you know, it goes up and down. So when drum and bass goes into that low point, which it always will, and it'll always come back out of, and always go back into, and always come back out of, what do you do in those low points? Like, how do you keep motivated? Is it because it's just for you?
Yeah, exactly. Why am I going to give a shit about anyone else? You know, I'm not saying that I don't care about anyone else. It's that I make music for my own reasons, and the reasons being that I want to satisfy and have fun doing so. And if I can then satisfy someone else and someone else gets some enjoyment and pleasure off it, or it actually takes them to a place, this is actually what I make music for, is to put me in it's a fantasy world. You know, it's a creation of fantasy. I want to take you to a place where you've never been before. I want to tickle your mind that you've never been tickled before. And I want to do that to myself. So
Yeah.
I'm kind of doing it to everybody else, hopefully, by doing it to me. And in, you know, going back to the money thing, it's bullshit, basically. All money is bullshit.
Do you have to work outside of doing DJing as well?
No, I managed to stay afloat, and it's sometimes it's challenging, sometimes it's good. You know, it's just ups and downs, like you say. You know, it swings and roundabouts, and but I don't let that affect my judgment. It's hard. I'm not saying this is lightly. It's very difficult to put yourself in perspective of what you are, what you do, and what rewards you get from it. The rewards I get from it is my personal reward. You know, when I see you guys and you love that tune, that's like, wow, you liked it too. That's cool, because I fucking liked it too.
Yeah.
You know, and that we both got off on the same thing. But I don't think that it's, oh, that's me, I did that. I think, wow, I've been blessed with that. You know, more so than, I could sit there and play the keyboard one morning and sound like an idiot. And the next day I sound like a fucking genius. So what am I? Am I a genius or an idiot? I'm neither.
Yeah.
And just, that's the way life is. It's just whatever you do, you keep going and you believe in it and you have fun with it. And I think once you've got that, everything else comes with it. And if it doesn't matter, because I've already satisfied what my drive was.
So you're really not shooting for a goal, you're just trying to enjoy the journey.
Oh, fuck yeah.
Yeah,
It's
nice.
But it's the moment. Hitting that bass note, whatever it is, that moment, and you're like, whoa, I've never heard that before. And I just did that, but kind of, you know, you're in amongst it, it's not you per se, but
The drum and bass is highly intellectual in the sense that it's like probably the first style of music that's fused, you know, jazz elements with, you know, more aggressive and mathematics to create a music style. And what other kind of musical influences do you think have played a role in drum and bass? What kind of musical influences have played a role in specifically like what you and your camp has produced?
I think jazz.
Yeah.
Drum and bass is jazz. And jazz that's a big word, I mean, that's a wide word. But really what it is, it's a free form. It's an expression that you listen to jazz, it's just off the wall.
Yeah.
You know, some people are going bananas with that shit and just letting off. And I think that's drum and bass is really core element. Even I remember back in the day, Dillinger mentioning that about jazz. I was like, yeah, you're right. You hit right, and that's what it is. This is what we're doing, and it's, I don't know whether you follow jazz or anybody. I don't follow it so much anymore, but I'm a fan of it for sure because it's out there.
Yeah.
It's just wild. I mean, that shit's wild. It's free, and it's an expression that you're not conformed to pop. And going back to your question about the pop and how drum and bass fits into pop, drum and bass is not pop.
Right.
It never will be. If it is, I'll give it up. Because that's not what we're doing. We don't want everybody to like it. That's not the point.
So it's a little punk rock in a sense.
It's totally punk rock, jazz orientated. Jazz because of the beats, I think. Because of the roughness of the beats. Punk because of the mentality of fuck you. You know, that rebel mentality bullshit.
Junglist, are we talking about the same
But you know, it's definitely wherever I go in the world, they're the same people.
Yeah. Yes. Exactly. When you mentioned Logan earlier as Loki from Everyday Junglist Crew, and I met him when MySpace was actually a thing on the internet. Yeah. You know, and
it's still a little thing.
Yeah.
It's there.
So, but you know, he was really the only one in Austin at the time that was doing anything. And me coming from San Diego and Los Angeles area, it's like, well, I'm gonna have to find some like-minded individuals, and sure enough, I run into these guys, and it's just like picking up. It's like you meet old friends, and you have this connection through the music.
That's interesting. Yeah, I think that goes a long way for everybody. The new generation of kids from our age and everything else. There's a certain people that are on a certain wavelength, and that's what it is, and you connect with those. I find a lot of drum and bass, the harder it gets, unfortunately, the more fucked up people that you get. I mean, and when I say fucked up, I don't mean that in a bad way. I mean people that have got a lot of venting to do, and they've got issues. I mean,
lack maturity or whatever else.
Had a hard life.
There we go.
Had a hard life.
But you never know what.
You get, for Tech Excelled, you'll get a lot of people in there that have a lot of venting to do. But that's great. That's an outlet. That's an emotional outlet that you can't do anywhere else.
Anytime we brought Tech Hits to San Diego, there were mosh pits.
Absolutely.
And
all those guys.
yeah. So what's your feeling on like the young guns and new cats? Are you like following anything that new drum and bass producers are doing, or are you kind of like me, where you're from the old school and you're like, everybody that's gonna do some dope shit has done some dope shit, and there it all is in vinyl form. And there's cool shit coming out, but like, what else can you do with drum and bass? And then leading also into that, what are your feelings about dubstep? Are you anti, or is that something that you've embraced?
No, I think, answer the latter of that question is really, I'm not anti anything. I believe it's great all round for everybody. Every genre, every electronic music there is great. There's lots of different emotions that humans feel. And we don't all just have the same thing that we want to smash our heads against the wall. Some people want to be taken on journeys, some people want to be thinking about it. There's all kinds of things, But your former question was
about newer acts. Like, if you just saw, I mean, where do you get your tunes from? Do you have your circle of people that you've known for years? And so obviously it's like, hey, I got a new track, check this out. And then if you like it, you're like, oh, this is cool, I'm going to play it out. And then it comes out the next month and everyone's like, yeah, we heard from Skynet, drop that at wherever, But are you accepting tracks from new people? Because a lot of people might, even though for you, you're not so much into the business and you're more just like, I'm just trying to play some music. Some people might be like, I just need to get this tune into Skynet's hand because he made this song that changed my world, and I want to show him that I make good drum and bass too. Are you open to listen to that, or how do you feel about like new drum and bass producers? Are they spinning their wheels by working on a style that's been run through in and out?
You got
I'm jaded. I'm fucking jaded, bro. I'm telling you.
You're jaded.
Havok Mega is jaded.
It's very easy to be jaded. It takes a lot of understanding and acceptance to things, and that takes skill and time. That takes quite experience to get through that. It doesn't happen overnight. But for me, I was saying after this conversation with Logan in the car earlier, there's some really dope shit around. Some really cool shit. But I'll be honest, I'm saying it on camera, it's nothing new.
Well, if you do something new, it's not drum and bass anymore. It becomes something else.
There's no new. You go back to the question of side effects. Nothing was around with side effects.
Right.
Nothing. There was nothing. There was influences here, there, and everywhere, but there was no solid side effects type.
So it's the first like running, grinding, tear out track, and it spawned E1 and SPL, E1 type
noise. Everybody, you name it, everybody influenced from that, and that's great. I don't take credit for it. I love that people can get influence and actually take it and push it and take it further. But I don't think there's many people that are taking it any further.
Right.
What they're doing is a really cool job of recreating it and reenacting 2000.
I mean, you can't make a new style of jazz really now. The styles are kind of out there. If you're doing it, you're just kind of making your own version of it.
That's what I was going to get to is, all of that said, it's very difficult now because you've got thousands of producers sitting in their bedroom every day trying to make the new hot shit. And to be honest with you though, they're all doing stuff, the younger kids you mentioned, It's all new to them. So yeah, it's brand new, and they actually might think they're creating the newest shit ever. This shit's been rinsed out. The whole world's a remix.
Somebody out there who hasn't seen the Flintstones.
Exactly. Everything's a remix. There's nothing in the world really that hasn't come from something else, and that's why you can never take credit for it. It's always just, right time, right place, blessed with that moment. And it happened to me, and I'm more blessed than most people would probably believe with having that given to me. I think there's, I'm not being hippie or spiritual or whatever, but I think you tune into stuff, and if you don't tune into it, it comes to you. You're just an antenna.
Yeah.
That's what I think. And then you channel that into a way of getting out to other people, and that is something that I think is a blessing. To get that, and you don't always get it. It's not like you're super blessed, what I mean? You get it now and again, and there's certain tunes and certain people that will come out with hits that you were like, wow, that's never heard before.
Yeah.
They're blessed with that.
You gotta remain humble and realize what you're doing. And I know this is your interview, but man, this is such an honor for me, because it's the first time meeting you, and I don't think that you've heard about me before, but I know a lot of your friends. And what I used to do in Los Angeles was I would wear a gas mask on stage, and I could go and rock in the crowd afterwards, and people would be like, yeah, that guy was sick, whatever. And then some people would be like, when they knew who I was, they're like, why are you wearing that? I'm like, okay, here's the thing. This isn't about me. Forget who I am and what I've done, or like what girl I was hanging out with, or who I said some shit about. I mean, I'm playing a bunch of records that some other people across the pond made. I didn't even make these. I'm just mixing them together. So why does it matter, like, what is behind this, This shit is fucking heavy, and you're feeling it, and I'm feeling it, so let's vibe on it,
The reason mainly is because everybody's got egos, and egos to satisfy. And, when people say egos, they think of, like, a cocky person. It's not a cocky person. It's not someone that's out there like, I'm the shit. That's alter ego. That's just out there, right? Inflated. But everybody has an ego. We all have a perception of who we are. I'm Nathan, and this is my basket, and this is what got put into it, and this is who I am, and this is what I've done. And that's my ego. That's just my sense of who I am. How much I need to fuel that to feel good about myself. That's where the differences come. I don't need to fuel anything. I'm comfortable with me.
See, you have a lot of friends too with your camp. I mean, you don't spend that much time making music with people and not become family, And I think that's kind of a part of it that might play into it too. When you have those friends to build.
I'm a very private person, actually. I'm very. I'm introvert and extrovert, actually. It's quite interesting. But. I can play both roles, but generally I'm private. I keep myself to myself. I don't do a lot of schmoozing. I don't talk to people just for the sake of talking to them, just to keep up with appearances and stuff like that. The real people that are around in my world are the people that I really, relate to. They have the same train of thought. They see the perception of I see. And that's who I really stick with, And you said earlier that I keep myself to these certain people. Yeah, they're friends, and they've been around for years, and they know the game, and they know what's going on.
A level of common understanding.
Yeah, it's easy. It's not. You said the new kids. Everyone's trying to prove something. Everyone's trying to prove themselves, and that's really ego. That's what it boils down to. If you just sat down and made music tomorrow. And they give a fuck about anyone else what they thought of it. But you would immediately, once you've done it, you would try and get recognition. You would try and get some sort of approval. Do you like this? What do you think of that? It doesn't matter what you think of it. Do you think it's alright? That would be my reply.
And that's why I said that, because there is some kid out there, but maybe a bunch that are like, I just want you to hear this song. Well, make it for yourself is what you're saying.
Absolutely. Who cares where everybody else likes it?
Because if you don't make it for yourself...
Well, you're conforming to what is in trend. That's what you're doing. You're making sounds to what sells. So you're conforming to the industry. That's pop. That's pop music. It's like people I'll stick a vocal in there. That will be popular. People will like that. Oh yeah, it's conceived.
See also Lady Gaga.
I don't know that. These people, Lady Gaga. Who's the other one? The crazy girl.
Keisha.
No, black chick with a crazy hair.
Beyonce or something like that?
No.
Rihanna.
No.
There's a bunch of
Big
them.
ass.
They crank them out in a factory.
Huge ass.
Like cookies.
What's her name?
Huge
Come
ass.
on. Huge ass. Huge.
Beyonce.
I'm sorry, but it's huge. Your ass is huge and everyone knows it, but come on, what's her name?
No, Kiki.
She's huge right now. Like the biggest sort of...
I don't listen to pop music.
It's trash.
Yeah, none of us know
exactly what. No.
Yeah.
There's our statement
There you
right
go.
there. Okay, whatever. I forget her name, but I'll come back to it. It's just trash. They're pumping out trash, and they're pumping out these people that write songs and some lyrics have such a responsibility. They have no idea what they're doing. And most of them don't write their own songs. I mean, I've been in LA for 3 years and I've been working with Babyface, which has just been working with Beyonce, all these kind of characters and everything else. I got in there and realised this is awful. This is the thing I epitomise about life. Is people doing shit just to become either popular or money. And it's driven and it's obvious and it shows. Nicki Minaj. There we go. Big ass, huge. Bam! You need to smack that. If I saw it, you need to smack. I mean, it could take people on the back of that thing. But anyway, she is, really. Them kind of people are just catering for egos, and they're not artists. Never in a million years will they be artists. So pop, and I experienced it firsthand. I've experienced shit. I guess you've all seen the pageant shit. That's what the pop world is like.
Yeah.
Parents will come and bring their kids into the studio. Kids, 14-year-old kids that I've been working with. And I heard stories that if they didn't hit the notes properly, give me a minute. And they'll take them out and they come back with tears in their eyes and you hit the fucking note. And that's what most pop artists are made of. They're made, Britney Spears, model from the moment she was young to be famous so her mum or whatever could get the reward from it. It's not about the kid's life, it's about what they want out of it. It's about their fucking wants. And
because they were unsatisfied when they were kids or
whatever
had
the reason.
ambitions that weren't met or something.
To it, yeah. It talks to you, it speaks to you, it's something you recognise, something you understand. If it's an instrumental record with our music, our leads are bass.
Yeah.
Our bass, when you probably read a million. How do you make that talking bass? I mean, I played this guy years ago in Seattle, a complete stranger, never heard of drum and bass, never heard of anything like electronic music like that. It was kind of out there what he did in musical terms, and I played him side effects. It blew his freaking mind off, but it was really interesting because he was going like this. And he was talking to it. It was like, what the fuck is going on here? But then I realised that's what he said. It's like, oh, you've got that. It's like talking to you. It's like, and of course I'm in it, so I don't really see it. And then I sort of saw it from a different perspective. I'm like, you're right. That's what it is. We've replaced the vocal.
I know there's this Bad Company track that had the what I want, but it's like, I know what they want. I know what they want.
It's all up to your interpretation. But it's the vowel is there,
yeah.
So you can kind of tweak it to your ear, to where you want your brain or whatever you want to do, and that's really interesting what drum and bass did, and that kind of sound with the bass. And now I mean it's gone over the top. I mean there's no really. You listen to dubstep and stuff. All it is really jump up half times with drum and bass. A little slower than drum and bass half time, but a little faster than half time. But there's no vowel in it. It's wobble. It's
yeah, their melodies do come in up top.
Yeah, and that really pulls it in together with that thing. But generally, the bass line is not talking to you.
Right.
It's screaming at you in a sense. It's really not kind of talking. It's kind of like an abrasive noise, squeal. like a squeal, like a scream. If you was to relate music to how we speak and how we interact with each other, dubstep is a scream. It's a wail. It's like, yeah. It's like, oh, I've hurt my fucking foot. You know what I mean? There's no story in there. You know, there's no story. But they're just cool. I mean, I'm not criticising it for that. But I'm just while we're talking on that element that hasn't got that, and the popularity really hit home to me a few months ago of why it's so popular, because it's hip hop for white people. That's what it is. It's the people that couldn't get away with being in a black hip hop club, too scared to be in there. It's like your M&Ms. And I saw it because I saw the crowd. They all go, it's like an Eminem concert. Mm-hmm. That's all it's doing. I've been to an Eminem concert, and that's all they do. It's a white kids hip hop, and that's cool because there's a lot of white kids that like hip hop, and that's their outlet for them. So I love that everybody's got their outlet, and it shows that a lot of people love hip hop, and a black influenced music. Origin of music has influenced a smaller generations of white, all kinds of nationality, whatever you come from, whatever is spreading, and it's a young white kids music. That's what I would see it as. If I was to sum it up, but there's nothing wrong with that old shit. There's nothing wrong with that. Again, there's nothing wrong or right with anything. It's just how it is, and that's what we discussed. And I guess that's
aside from music, there's also a lifestyle element that you're familiar with, and we're all familiar with, and just being part of a culture that revolves around being part of bass culture. I guess you are accustomed to a certain lifestyle. I mean, here it is, like 4 o'clock in the morning, and we're doing an interview, and this seems quite normal, that there's nothing odd about this in my life because I've designed my life to where, maybe Skynet's next door at 4 in the morning, we should do an interview. Mm-hmm. But, how much time are you spending on the road these days? Are you kind of mostly just putting out tracks from one spot, or are you kind of active in the touring scene? I'm a little out of the loop these days.
Yeah, me too. For the last 3 years I've been engaged in other activities in the pop world. In LA, I was living there, and I was really, I get bored very quickly, and I really need to, I really need to push myself. I really need to step myself out, what I do, and challenge myself. And the pop world, it's such a simple formula of chords and progression. That's all the same. It's all the same progression all the time. And that was the hardest thing to get past. But it was a challenge for me, but because it was so fucking simple. It's retardedly simple.
The thing about drum and bass production, man, is it's so complicated, and to get those sounds to mix with each other, and you're doing subtractive EQing and sidechain compression and all these things to get things to move in and out of each other, and you have call and response stabs. I think that the technical skill required to sit down and grind out something like Side Effects is so, overlooked. But I do want to kind of stick away from the music and stick with the lifestyle, because you've done a lot of touring, and we know that, and it might be kind of interesting for the folks listening.
Yeah.
Like what's been like the most, we all know what the rewards are of touring. Getting to be a musician and do what you love for a living and follow your dreams and your passions. But what's maybe been one of the hardest things about being on the road and traveling around? Because everybody's like, oh, I want to travel. Well, not for work, It's different when you're actually on the grind and performing for people. It's not always fun. What's been the most difficult, or maybe even like a funny story that...
I'd say it from 2 different angles. My first angle of experience, more thin after when you're doing flights and you're spending pretty much half your lifetime on a plane, and you're traveling around, and you really can't, if you're going to different places, it's very difficult for a human mind to really take in everything. So it kind of goes on this autopilot. You kind of just take in little bits and pieces. So you're kind of shutting down what you're doing. You're just go, do what I've got to do, to the next thing. because and that actually in the beginning really ruined it for me. I started getting like jaded with fucking flights, fucking shit. This is fucking bullshit, you know. Why have I got to do all this and this? Because I'm not really. I like to personally be in the studio. That's what I'm home. I love the club. I love the scene. I love the thing. But when you sing it, I mean, I started in '86.
Yeah.
And you sing it a million times over. There's no better word than a cliche. Comes to mind.
Yeah.
And I see cliches all over the place. To train yourself not to be jaded from those cliches, it's very difficult. And I did get jaded from it. It's like, oh, God.
You can train yourself not to.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, absolutely. Oh, you can train yourself to do anything you want.
It's on it.
It's just a matter of you catch yourself. You've got to catch yourself of your subconscious actions.
Well, I think like you, I get bored easily too, and it's not that drum and bass, like punk rock, always has a place in my heart. You know, I love the tracks that I love, but like you said, there's not a whole lot new that they can do. So, you know, when dubstep hit, definitely, you know, saw that trickle down from San Francisco down to Los Angeles, and then, you know, all of a sudden it's a genre in Beatport and it's taking off. And then we actually were able to bring Edit from the Glitch Mob down before he was doing a lot of Glitch Mob stuff, and that was really cool. And he had a very sharp, aggressive sound with the whole glitch movement that he did. But I think for me, it's you know, it's I'm looking for what's next, because there's a lot of things that can be done out there with music and drum and bass. Yeah. You know, it all originates from somewhere. There's always a derivative, like we're talking about jazz. But what's next is always kind of interesting to me, you know? So it's not, you know.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. I mean, we're all looking for it. Every single person. Well, I wouldn't say every single person. I would say the most seasoned artists or producers, whatever you want to call them, people that make music, are, I guess, looking for that stuff. Not all. Some of them are happy with the conform to their sound. Okay, I'm so and so, and that's what I do. That's what I make, and this is what I'm going to continue making, and that's what I do, and that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. That's what makes them happy. Yeah. And I can't take anything away from anybody that makes them happy. It's never a thing. But for me, and my mentality, I have to be tickled. I mean, that's the thing about rave music that got me from the beginning, from the acid house days, from house, from early Chicago sound. I never heard that shit before. What? Stab's like, what is that? What is that? Where did you get that from? What are you doing? How are you doing it? I don't fucking know, but I'm going to try my ass to get the fucking sound that you're getting. Now, that started like way back in the early 80s. It originated from disco to Chicago house to house in England, England to from house to rave to acid house to whatever, you know. That's it. Yeah. The fractal explode.
Yeah.
You know, and the branches are just splitting and splitting and splitting. And you know, so I've seen it. And there's nothing that no one's done. There's not many. There's a handful. Really, it always is. There's a handful of people that can actually do stuff that tickles my mind. That will go, whoa, that's crazy. I don't even know where to start doing that. You know what I mean? What have you done? And I think the longer time goes on with electronic music, all the avenues are explored. So that's where we're at. That's why. What next? Oh, actually, you know what? I can make it a little bit slower, or I can make it a bit faster, or I can actually make it a bit pitchier or a bit lower. You know, like drum and bass, it's gone back to more minimal, more pitched up beats. It's, you know, rather than low beats like what Don would do, the pitched down beats, it's like draggy and, you know, dirty and grimy. He'll pitch it up to make it snappy and chic, and you know. So it's you know. Here's a funny example. I do a lot of mixes for people too. And I've done a lot of house mixes, and this guy gave me a mix to do, and I put the clap up where I thought it would be, you know, to me. And I admit I'm from the 80s, you know, from the 90s. I know that's where I like that clap. And that's what he said. He said, that sounds too 90s. I'm like, holy shit, if your whole genre's holding and fucking on to a level of dB on a clap, it changes your whole genre? Like, oh no, it's new. If your clap's 2 dB higher, are you fucking shitting me? That's all you've got left to do? Because really, be honest with you, The chords are done. The arpeggiators are done. Motherfuckers done since 85, 86. There's nothing new. But they're putting a new sound to it. That's all they're doing. Maybe tweaking the beats a little bit here. Maybe the kick's lower. Maybe it's sharper. Maybe it's... Is that all we got left? Is that the only room for movement that we got left? Is a snare or a clap 2 dB higher or lower? That changes the whole genre?
Certainly not.
That's bullshit. You got nothing left in your genre is what that means. You got nothing left to give. It's all been done. And that's what made me really hit me home. I'm like, oh fuck. There's no point in doing that shit. If I'm going to make a drum and bass tune, you know, I'm going to make this different. I'm going to put a hi-hat. What the fuck is that? No, it's new, it's fresh. It's brand new, it's cutting edge, man. Look and listen to that hi-hat. It's up there. Look, it's down there below. Yeah, but that's the mentality of people because they hit a brick wall, they don't have any idea of how to get past that brick wall, and then they'll try and change what they got.
I always reverse the third kick, so that's my
That's
my sound right
that's
there.
My
reverse
sound.
it. Don't you even think about taking it. Hey, you know what? I wanna kind of dig into. Well, I want to ask something that I'm actually a little uncomfortable asking, and we can cut it out. I don't
ever be uncomfortable with anything you ever ask.
Here's the thing, because
anybody.
Well, Conflict, Messiah.
Mm-hmm.
We, from when I came into everything, it was very much tech step, then got into the running stuff, and then here comes Conflict, and there comes Messiah. Now, of course, being so far away, being in California, and then hearing about like what's going on behind the scenes, I don't know how close you were to any of that, but there was over a decade ago, and maybe people don't even know what I'm even getting at here, but there was a lot of talk about, well, Conflict is going to release this track on Negative, and Chris Renegade, something about basically some shadiness going on with him jacking that, and then that came out on the Aftermath pack. And this is so long ago that there's probably not a lot of people that know or care. But for me, it was just always this thing like, what do you know anything about that situation? Would you comment on that, on or off record, about what really happened with the Conflict release? Did it get jacked for Renegade hardware? Because that sold a bunch of Aftermath packs, and the pack was fire already. Yeah. The pack was dope. Every single track on Aftermath, that when it came out was the shit. But Conflict was, from my understanding, was going to release it on Negative, and instead they released The Mummy and whatever, and then apparently maybe something might have happened where Kamal and Rob Data had to go into those names because Conflict was owned by Renegade hardware. I don't know. These are rumors that were coming over here, and that's the only information that we would have. And I think as a younger kid, I'm not going to say like, hey, what the fuck was going on over there? What happened with this Messiah? It was just kind of cool to be a part of it.
It's interesting that you guys actually, heard of that stuff, and it went down. But before I go into it, it happens every day.
Yeah,
it's called industry. Industry. People get fucked over every single day. As we speak, someone's getting fucked over in the music industry. Because it's industry. Because you know what? There's a lot of fat old motherfuckers sitting behind a desk trying to make fucking money out of other motherfuckers.
Yeah, protect yourself.
That's the game. It's a slutty industry. It's disgusting. It's just something I just never... I never wanted to get into it, and I got into it in LA. Many reasons for it, not right now, but I saw it and it disgusted me even more than I actually was disgusted about it before. There is so much talent. You wouldn't believe the amount of talent that's in this industry, and it's all wasted.
Lawyers fuck everything out.
There's not even that. They're all businessmen.
Yeah.
They all give a shit about the dollar. They don't care about what they're putting out. They want to. Well, they do care about what they're putting out. They want to put out
one production themselves.
What makes money, because that's what they're in it for. They didn't get in it to make music. They started off that way, but they quickly realised that we can have a good living out of this, and then shit on everybody else. And
Renegade Hardware turned in one of the biggest labels for that time. It's like Frontline and True
Renegade,
Plays and all that stuff.
What my point was Renegade is the industry of drum and bass.
Right.
That's what they were. They were business. None of the guys that did the label were producers. So what does that tell you? They're industry. They're businessmen. They're the ones that conspire, sit down and conspire how we can make music sell. That's what they do. And in that, when you are up against those people, that's the kind of moves you're going to see. And there's nothing wrong with them. That's the people they are. I don't hold it against them. But that's just who they are. That's not who I am, and I will never associate myself with those people.
What happened?
Yeah.
What happened with
just
that situation?
That record, they were signed, Conflict the name was signed to Renegade Hardware. Legally, business-wise, that was the legit. So really, everything they did, they had first refusal on. Hardware. So that was really legitimate. But it's sly, it's legitimate. But that's industry, it's legitimate cuntishness. It's a legitimate way to fuck people.
Yeah.
That's what it is. And, so, yeah, Renegade, them guys, Mark, Clayton, they did their business and they did it how they should do it. And if you're into that game, that's how you should do it. But you've got to ask yourself, are you into that game? That's all you've got to ask yourself. It's not a matter of, oh, that's wrong. Well, to me, that's wrong, but, that's the way they wanted to carry on. That's up to them, and they're still going, and so they're doing something right. I mean, in their sense, it's working for them. But Kamau and, they wanted to put it under, it was Conflict, and they wanted to put it in Rob Day and Kamau. And, I mean, we were really close with Kamau. I mean, we always in contact with them. They were coming to the studio, and, we were always back and forth, and, we knew what went down, and that's what went down, really. I mean, without getting into the nitty-gritty, that's really the upshot of it is. They wanted to put it out on their label as negative, but they had already signed.
First refusal.
Absolutely. So, no matter what of a bitch that is, that's the bitch you signed.
Yeah.
So that's the bitch you got to deal with.
Yeah,
and I'm on their side.
Yeah.
That's the bitch you got to deal with. But I think what they dealt with was bullshit. But
yeah, I mean, as a musician, as a mainstream pop musician, a lot of these people will have like an attorney and an accountant and then a personal manager and a talent agent. Now your personal manager gets you booked somewhere, and as an artist, you can actually be like, well, you just breached contract because you're doing what the talent agent's supposed to do. Out here, it's literally like you can't do that as a personal manager, and so it can go both ways, and so. Politics, man. Politics and law come into music, and that.
Yeah, politics is human interaction, social interaction that really. It's really a simple case. I mean, I don't really like to go on about too much.
Yeah,
it's really simple.
I think most people don't know about it.
Not of that thing, but if we were to. There were upsets and there were words said and there were, everybody's going to be upset. That person's going to be upset and that party's going to be upset. So they're going to kind of bang heads a little bit. And that's what happened. Pretty much, it got a little shitty. Little shitty words were said and shitty things. That happens every day. I mean, there's nothing big about it. But it was just shitty that Kamau are really cool. Kamau and Rob were really, really, really lovely, genuine people. And that's the reason why they left the scene. Is because it sucks.
That's great stuff. But you know what? They came in, they did their business, they left a mark, and nobody can take that away from them.
Why I left the scene? It's too dark. It's too much bullshit. It's too much negativity. It's too much in the sound itself. It's negative, and that's what their label was called.
Only the reason why their label was look at it like that, though, right? Because there's a lot of positivity in drum and bass.
It's dark. It's the notes. It's the
minor chords.
Oh yeah.
Dissonance.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, it is. I mean, Kamau's very spiritual. He's very smart, very wise. He has his eyes wide open to everything, and that's what I respect more than anything. Yeah. And he saw to a level that I didn't even see at the time. That he was telling me, he was like, "This music's not good. This music's not good for people. This music's not right."
Master that.
This is not right. I don't want to make music that creates that wherever emotion it puts you in.
Huh.
I think he saw a different side to it.
Yeah.
There was energy that he was missing that was positive, a lot of positivity in his sound, but he was dwelling on the negative. Of course, he was focused on the negative, and that's why he started his label called Negative. That's the whole reason, is negativity, and that's the whole sound. Is negativity. It's dark. It's hard. It's negative. It's in your face. It's smack. But not all of it's like that.
Yeah.
That's what he saw from it.
Yeah.
And I don't blame him. I mean, there is that. And he's just
had some good kind of uplifting. There's.
He did start doing stuff like that.
Yeah.
No one liked it.
Hey, you know what? I do want to basically give a shout out for all the nerds out there, and myself especially, because I love producing music. I love making stuff, as you can see by the studio, and I do very much do it for myself.
Yeah.
And friends and family, people that want to enjoy it, sure. But I'm running on a Mac, and I really love Logic, and I love Reason. That's been one of my programs since like 2.5.
Right.
But I'm sure me and a lot of other people would want to know, from the nerd aspect, what's your workflow like? What operating system are you on? Mac, PC? What hardware do you use? What software do you use?
I am completely an update inside the box. I don't use any hardware unless I'm in another studio or somewhere else where I'm fortunate enough to get stuff. I think this day and age, it's there. I think it's a fraction of a hair away from any more analog gear. Never be quite the same, but it's close enough to be acceptable, and to fool the brain into thinking there's some linearity going on. Like there's something fooling the brain that gets away with it. And so I'm happy with the sound in this computer. Logic, Mac, always up to date with everything. Mountain Lion at the moment, and everything's like I was just trying to keep up to spec. And Logic, plugins, usual. I mean, there's all the wave stuff. I will touch on a point that I'm really kind of, I guess, I'm really behind it, really. The internet is leveling the whole industry, not music industry, everybody, film, everybody. What it's telling us is there is nobody above you or below you, and everybody's equal, and there's no money is worthless. It's a piece of paper that we all agree to. It's an idea, and it doesn't produce anything. Money does not create anything. It's actually just an idea that it's humans that create it. Just the idea that you've got some money in your pocket. It's a piece of fucking paper, and it's just so delusional for us all that we've been wrapped up in. Most people do not know where it comes from and how it's created. And if you did know, you'd all be freaked out, because the money is made out of debt. There is no money in existence.
High five. Don't even get me on that shit.
Yeah. There's no money in existence. The banks create a debt when you ask for a loan. It's not a loan like the money they had from Logan's money, right? They created it because they're allowed to create a fractional reserve of a percentage of what they have in there. So they can create your debt. But all they do is actually enter on the computer now, I've got 10 grand for you. 10 grand debt. That money, and when you leave school, most people think you go to school, you leave school, you get a job, you work hard, and you earn that money. That money you got paid with your first week's wages was debt that the person that hired you borrowed. It's nothing. You don't create anything, money. It's just an illusion. And that is what people are so wrapped up in the industry. Everybody's wrapped up to it, and that is what's spoiling and holding back. It's just holding back everything. So I'm pretty confident that the time is coming that our system is actually dying a really painful slow death, and we're still smacking. It's like a horse, and we're just beating it. Come on, there's one more fucking, just give me some more dollars, and you're beating the shit out of it, and it's done. It's done, and we all got to start realising that we've got to find a way how to get by without him.
Well, with headlock off the grid, so we'll give you the GPS coordinates.
I don't even think you need that. I don't even think you need that.
You think society can pull itself together
Oh,
and
absolutely.
come together?
Oh, absolutely. And it will. And it's just inevitable. It's actually, whether you, me, or anyone else in this room likes it, it's going to happen.
Yeah.
And it will take time, and it'll be messy, and it'll be nasty and shitty, but it will. It will happen. And everybody will be reduced to, there is no money. We're one step, a few years away from self-empowerment of energy. They're making trainers now where you can charge it your cell phone. You know, when you walk on it, every day you're using energy. Why don't you capture it? You fucking charge it. Well, you know, in a few years we're going to do that. So it won't be a mass, global scale. Everybody's individually powered. But it doesn't weigh of energy. How much money do we spend on energy? Our food, our transport, our clothes, everything comes from fucking energy. It's gone. No money. There's no energy anymore. We got it all. And once we got that, everything will fall into place. So that's where I see it. And then all these people that are out there doing their music, trying to get their money, it's worthless, and you're wasting your time if that's what you're doing it for. Because you're going to get it, but it'll be worthless paper. And it's inevitable now. I was living in Santa Monica for a while, and I met like some rich people there, like, you know, in the Starbucks every day. You get talking to them or whatever, and it's funny, they knew it was coming too. And I said, your money is like, what's it going to be when it happens? And they went, I know. You can't buy security to protect yourself because money's useless.
And you spend so much time, and the thing is, like, you made a choice years and years and years, decades ago.
Yeah.
You made a choice. You could do this thing that, I'm sure you, like many musicians, had a couple people saying, hey, look, I know you're having fun, but at some point you might want to buckle down and start working and doing this or that or the other. Yeah. And that, it's just such an absurd concept. Like, why?
It's absurd.
Why would I not want to? This is not the way we're supposed to be. We're not supposed to actually be like, I really enjoy my house and living here, but really we're supposed to be out there in huts running away from bears. And the thing is, these bears bring in this fight or flight thing, and so what happens is all these people, they get caught up chasing paper, and they're like, well, I gotta sit in my cubicle, and I got this email that's driving me crazy. Like, you're sitting in front of a computer screen right now. That tension is because you're not fighting, you're not killing your food, you're not running from shit. We have
competition,
lizard brain, like
competition and scarcity. It comes from. Back in the jungle, when we were all living like that, we were scarce of food. So we would kill the motherfucker to get that food. Yeah, absolutely. But we're not in that position anymore. Do you know in Africa, when they find a massive amount of diamonds, you know what they do with them?
I don't know the answer to
They
this.
burn them.
Yeah.
Because if there's a lot in circulation, the price goes down. So it's based off of scarcity. So if there's not a lot of it, it's rare, it's worth money.
It's kind of like farmers are paid to destroy part of their harvest
Absolutely.
for economics. The
Bullshit.
science agreed, baby.
It's bullshit, basically. It's based out of scarcity. And again, I'm a big advocate of the Zeitgeist movement, which is all about based off a resource-based economy, where we measure what we got and realise what we can use. I mean, if you walked into a house and this is where you're going to be for 10 years, you look in the cupboards and see what you got, right? I mean, you take a scan and see how much food you got, see how much you're going to live. I mean, we none of us, this has all happened in packets. Google have scanned Earth for minerals, the satellite scanning Earth from everything. It's not come together. It can come together as Skynet and control the whole universe.
That interview was fucking money. No, seriously though, it does take money to fucking get a plane up in the air. It takes jet fuel, hundreds of people.
It doesn't take money.
Well,
It doesn't take money. It takes the belief in money.
The belief in money. I'm saying we need to know how to get you out to different places because you want to share your music. Who is your talent agency right now that takes care of the grimy, dirty stuff?
Me mostly.
Really?
Yeah, me mostly. I talk to people, like as friends. Like I'd rather play for friends and have a good time, hang out like this.
So how do people find you? I mean, obviously, if somebody does not know about you and because people haven't seen the Flintstones.
Hey, there's nothing wrong with mystery.
Yeah, so
a bit of
somebody,
exclusivity, you know what I mean?
so
Just
somebody like here's your
scarcity.
somebody hears Side Effects, or here's some another recent track, and they're like, okay, you know what?
Right.
Skynet was just it. I was in Austin this last weekend, and I saw Skynet, blew my mind. Who's the shit?
Yeah.
Let's bring him out here to Indiana. How do they find you, and how do they get you booked out
usually
there?
you say www.boom, but I'm going to say absolutely you should noodle and try and find it.
Ooh, there you go.
I mean, you got a fucking computer in front of you. If you can't find me, you're an idiot.
You know what, man? Hey, thank you so much, brother, because I gotta tell you, on behalf of like the Drums family in Los Angeles and the Everyday Junglist crew out here in Austin, Texas, it has been a real pleasure getting to sit down and talk to you and find out what makes you tick. And I think, I learned a lot about something that has been a part of my history, and I hope this has been a good interview for all the people out there that are into your music, man. Thank you so much.
I'm pissed off too many people, but you got to speak how you feel, and no matter what it is, and there's no right or wrong again. This is just a good music for perceptions. Everyone has to that's my perception.